Our story kicks off in a huge forest with mountains rising in the distance. Right in the middle of it all, there's a little house, and inside it, a boy is sprawled out on his bed. He gets up, walks past a couple of books and a knife on the table, and steps outside to enjoy the bright blue morning sky. Then casually says, "Water, come to me." And just like that, a ball of water forms in his hand, only to vanish a second later, leaving a puddle in his palm. Next thing he knows, the boy finds himself in a surreal, dreamlike place where a mysterious man greets him by name, Mihara Ryo. The man tells Ryo he died in a car accident. Ryo nods, he remembers. He then asks if this guy is God. The man says no, but he's kind of like an angel. Ryo decides to just call him Miguel. Easy enough. Miguel explains that Ryo will be reincarnated into a new world. No missions, no quests. He can just live however he wants. Ryo, being a chill guy, says he'd like a peaceful life. Miguel nods and tells him he'll be sent to a world called Phi, where 20% of people can use magic. Ryo's strongest magic affinity? Water, because of course it is. Miguel sets him up nicely. A cozy house in the Rondo Forest, 2 months worth of food, even a magic barrier to keep monsters out. There's also a couple of books waiting for him, the Monster Compendium and the Flora Compendium. The language is weird, but somehow Ryo can read every word. Out back, Ryo begins testing his magic. He learns that if he just pictures water in his mind, he can summon it, no fancy words needed. Although he does wish he could shout cool things like water jet while blasting enemies. As he soaks in the tub, he notices the water he summons is only room temperature. No steamy baths for now. Later, he tries the classic rubbing sticks together trick to make fire. It fails miserably. Lying in the grass, he stares at his water bucket and wonders, can he freeze it? He focuses, imagines the molecules locking together, and after a lot of effort, boom, ice. Not only that, he reflects sunlight off it to finally spark a fire. His bath is warm. The day is won. The next morning, he eats some meat and reminds himself that the food won't last forever. Eventually, he'll have to hunt. But outside the barrier, there are monsters, and his magic is still a work in progress. A knife won't cut it, literally. So he heads outside and fires a water ball at a tree. Decent aim, but not strong enough to scare off anything bigger than a squirrel. He tries a water jet next, but it barely reaches past his feet. Feeling defeated, he remembers what Miguel told him, magic is all about imagination. You need to picture what you want clearly, and then train like crazy. So that's exactly what he does, practicing until sunset. Soon he can heat up his bathwater with ease. The next day, he tries making ice in midair. It works slowly. Then he attempts his dream move, Icicle Lance. He throws it, and it barely goes anywhere. Still, it's a start. He keeps training, summoning water balls in the sky and launching them for practice, pushing his magic to the limit. Days pass. Eventually, he can cast Icicle Lance in an instant. It still doesn't fly very far, but hey, progress is progress. He then crafts his spear with an icy tip and heads out into the forest, finally ready to leave his safe zone. Not long into his adventure, he finds quartz by the river, perfect for starting fires without meeting the sun. All he needs now are detox herbs and he can call it a win. But of course, peace doesn't last long. Out of nowhere, a lesser boar charges at him. Ryo freezes but dodges just in time, and the beast smashes into a tree so hard that the whole thing topples over. He panics but quickly remembers he's got magic on his side now. He conjures a path of ice under the boar's feet, sliding the beast straight toward him. Then he unleashes 16 ice spears in a flash. The fight is over in seconds. That night, Ryo flips through his monster book and finds out that lesser boars are among the weakest monsters in the forest. That little fact sends a shiver down his spine, because if that thing almost got him, what happens when he runs into something serious? Flipping to the final pages, he finds a section clearly marked for advanced readers. There it is, dragons, capable of wiping out entire cities solo. The book gives some blunt advice. If you see one, run. The next day, he heads back into the forest and picks some fruit, sweet, sour, just the way he likes it. But just as he's about to enjoy the snack, a giant bird swoops down from the sky, almost grabbing him with its talons. Seconds later, it lets loose a wind attack so sharp it slices trees in half like paper. Welcome to level 2 of the danger zone. Ryo bolts, summoning ice shields behind him to block incoming spells. He quickly realizes what he's up against, a killer falcon, master of the wind slash. He fires back with water jets, but the bird is just too fast, dodging everything. Then it dives like a missile. Thinking fast, Ryo summons an ice dome, and SMASH. The falcon slams right into it. The bird crashes, stunned but not finished. Beaten and blind in one eye, the falcon glares, decides this fight isn't worth it, and flies off. Rio breathes a sigh of relief only to realize he's completely lost. He ends up wandering the forest until nightfall. Eventually, he stumbles upon a glowing lake and sees a headless knight on a headless horse gliding across the water like something straight out of a horror story. The next day, Rio's back to hunting. This time, he takes down a massive snake and even brings home some fish. Not bad. Then he heads to the coast, upgrades his ice shield, and explores the ocean floor until he's chased off by a giant octopus. Yep, even the seafood's aggressive here. As the days pass, Rio levels up. He masters a new spell, Abrasive Jet, a high-pressure water stream strong enough to slice through stone. With more research, he learns how to harden ice for even more powerful effects. His magic's getting serious. One night at the lake, he meets the Headless Knight again. There's no mention of it in the monster book, which means it's probably way above his level. But instead of running, Rio accepts the challenge. He tries to fight, but the knight blocks everything with ease. Rio's forced to shield himself with ice shards, and in seconds, he's out of energy. Just when he thinks it's over, the knight hands him a sword made of water. A silent offer. Train with me. Then it vanishes. The next day, the killer falcon returns, but this time it's cloaked in a dark, terrifying aura. Rio puts up 5 layers of ice walls. The bird shreds through them. He builds 10 more. The bird tears through those too. Every spell Rio fires is dodged. Every barrier is broken. And then, lightning. The falcon hurls a lightning spell that nearly ends the fight right there. But Rio doesn't quit. He switches to his water sword, deflecting the falcon's attacks with skill instead of spells. Focused and calm, he waits, and when the bird dives again, he strikes. His blade sinks deep into the falcon's body. The battle is over. As the creature lies dying, Rio thanks it, not just for the fight, but for helping him grow. He knows if he hadn't improved, he wouldn't have survived this rematch. Out of respect, he promises the falcon a noble end and delivers it with a quiet final blow. Then, a red dragon appears, soaring high above the Rondo forest. It lands right in front of him and speaks, through telepathy. The dragon asks if he's seen a powerful falcon nearby. Rio, assuming the bird was its servant, apologizes. The dragon instantly realizes what happened. The boy defeated it. Impressed, the dragon glances at Rio's waist. He's carrying the Fairy King's sword. If the king gave him that blade, the dragon says he must have serious potential. Rio, still not totally convinced of that, asks if he can ask him a few questions instead. The dragon chuckles, probably hears a distant call, and prepares to leave. Before flying off, it tells him its name, Loon. Rio watches it disappear into the sky, still processing everything. A talking dragon? A headless mentor? What even is this life? Meanwhile, back in the otherworldly realm, Yale stares at a glowing tablet and mutters something alarming. Turns out, Rio has a secret trait, one that hasn't appeared in over 10,000 years, not since the last person Miguel sent to another world. The trait? Eternal youth.